Okay, going live now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Occupy Fantasy Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Streams. Chuck's over here with Chris. Chris, how are we doing this morning? It's been a while.
Chuck, we haven't talked in almost a full day at this point. It's been too long, but how you doing? Excuse me, swallow my words. My brain is so jumbled. I've been thinking way too much about regular season football, preseason football, which is once again kicking off this evening. You very much on point here. Have the NFL higher or lower pick'em stats that are available from Underdog for tonight's games on the screen. Put a preview video up on the Occupy Fantasy channel for the daily fantasy slates on FanDuel and DraftKings that I encourage everybody to check out if you haven't seen it yet. Wanted to call out a couple of plays on the slate here before we get going with the draft. Chuck, Tyler Goodson, that's Goodson from the Green Bay Packers, should be the best running back to play from the Packers this evening. One of the biggest favorites on the board. I think this is a pretty good player to consider for a pick'em slip if you are building one on Underdog tonight. Another play I like, bring up a line for Tyrod Taylor from the New York Giants if you can for me, please. I actually don't like Tyrod Taylor tonight. I think that his third-string teammate, Tommy DeVito, is going to play the majority of this game. So I actually specifically like a lower on Tyrod Taylor here. I don't think he's going to play very much this evening. And then Jameson Williams from the Detroit Lions, Chuck. I think he's going to get a lot of run here. These lines are pretty good. I don't know if I feel good enough to say higher than 27.5 receiving yards this evening, but I think there might be some room there on receptions or fantasy points to maybe take the higher side with Jameson Williams, because I think he's going to be playing a lot this evening. Those are my three favorite plays right now. We're going to keep an eye on the news as it comes out through the rest of the afternoon. But man, I am so happy that we have daily football games to look at, be able to build some cards like this, be able to talk about with our friends and stuff like that. We're finally back. It may seem like it's a little outrageous to be this excited about preseason football, but it has been a long time since we've had some NFL action.
Oh, there's nothing like a good NFL sweat, man.
So, why don't we get into it? Chuck, you're going to lead the drafting tonight. I guess we're going to do another Best Ball Mania 4, right? That's what you've planned?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Let's. I'm going to enter right now. Looks like we got 4 more spots in here if anyone watching wants to join us.
And Chuck, where do we think Tank Dell is going to go this evening? Big game for him against the Patriots last night. Played 48% of the snaps. I will say that had me a little concerned, but then, slept on it, thought about it a little bit more. When we're drafting Tank Dell at the end of a draft, right, Chuck, we're not necessarily – we'll take a big role at the beginning of the season, but what we really want is a big role from him at the end of the season. I think all we know now is that he's definitely pushing to be involved in this offense. Feels like by October, November, December, he has a really good chance to have that role now.
Oh, yeah. When I'm drafting players like Tank Dell, if they give me one usable week just in the playoffs, then that's enough for me to say they were a good draft pick. Maybe they have one spike week during the season, help us get there, but we don't need much.
We did get one piece of information that I think is very big this afternoon from practices around the league. The Raiders were practicing today. Devontae Adams got injured and looks like he was helped off the field. We're waiting for an update on that. We don't know the severity of it, but I would expect in this contest, Chuck, which is super badge heavy, by the way, you've got the 6th pick. I actually jumped in there. I've got the number 2 pick here. I'm interested to see where Devontae Adams goes on the back of that news, because it looks like there's a lot of people in here that'll be very mindful of that.
He's already such a good value. How good of a value can he really become? Is he really going to fall? I could see him falling even another few spots in ADP. It just kind of seems insane.
It doesn't sound like I'm not expecting him to fall all the way to the end of round 2 here, Chip, but I will say if he's there, man, that's going to be a tough thing to think about here in this contest. You're getting back into the fast draft streets here. You mentioned to me after our show, you seems like you've done a couple more of these, or maybe you said slow drafts, I'm sorry. But as we enter the fast draft here for the first time in a long time for you potentially, What are you expecting to be different in this experience now?
So I did 8 of the fast Chihuahua drafts yesterday, and those drafts are, it's $4 entry versus 25 for here. So we're still going to see some weird things going on over there. But just take what the room gives me. Best player available, I guess, for the first few rounds, and just see how they treat quarterbacks, I guess, because when the top 3 quarterbacks make it to the end of round 2. Usually I think it means it's a sharper room, right? With the guys really hammering the wide receivers and running backs early. So if that's the case, then we kind of just have to hammer receivers and running backs as well. So
yeah, make an excellent case here, because I think what we typically have seen most of the spring and summer here is as we come back down, to the left here on the chart in round 2, the Diggs owner usually wants Josh Allen. The AJ Brown owner is very liable to take Jalen Hurts, and the Kelsey owner is pretty likely to take Patrick Mahomes. If all those owners pass on those quarterback pairings in round 2, it makes the 2-3 turn a little more interesting. And I know in round 3, I'm interested in those quarterbacks if they're still there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. SOs, you said the audio keeps cutting out. Let me know if it's better or if that continues, please.
And as I teed that up perfectly for you, Chuck, Travis Kelce with the 6th overall pick. I think we've talked about it a few times, but maybe some of our viewers have not necessarily seen every show we've done together. Patrick Mahomes at pick number 19. Are you in? Are you out here?
I think it really depends on who else is available. I want to say more than half of my Kelsey shares, I'm pairing him up with Patrick Mahomes in the second round. I feel like Tony Pollard is probably the only guy that I want to take over Patrick Mahomes at that point. I know I just said that, probably waiting on the elite quarterbacks till later, but it's really hard to pass up on Mahomes when I already have Kelsey, since I imagine a lot of Mahomes' fantasy value comes from passing the ball to Travis Kelce.
And how do you, now that we're invested in Kelsey being the best player at the tight end position once again, I mean, more or less interested in Kansas City wide receivers? What's your mindset there?
I think I'm usually always still going to add a one receivers, probably not Sky Moore just because his ADP got kind of ridiculous, but MVS, Rashee Rice maybe. So Ethos said the audio is still spotty. Not quite sure what I should do here.
All right, let me. Is it the? I guess the feedback would be: is it the audio overall, or is it one of us specifically? I think that would be the important piece of information we need at this point. AJ Brown. Well, no fall on Devontae Adams here, going right around where he usually does at the beginning of the second round. So that answers that question.
We talked about this a little yesterday with AJ Brown kind of being forgotten right now, and I see him fall out of the first round pretty regularly in the drafts I've been doing.
That NFC East combo there, CeeDee Lamb from the Cowboys, AJ Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I love it in general. I think that's a great duo to start with in something like weekly winners as well, if you're looking for some of those spike weeks with the division games, which I think is something that we talked about at the tail end of yesterday's show. The quarterbacks are not falling. Tony Pollard is teed up for you. What are we thinking here? I am interested to see the direction you choose over the next 15 seconds or so here.
It's tough. Like, I lean toward just taking Mahomes because it's easy, right? But something about this is the most common combo in the whole contest, Kelsey and Mahomes. I'm going to go Pollard. Just mix it up a little bit, I guess. Mahomes never makes it back to me. But
I don't know how I feel about – I think I've got enough of this combo already. Chase, Higgins, Burrow. I may try it again. After kind of digesting some content from other people and some of the studies that have come out, I think we made a pretty early flag plant, Chuck, on waiting for Burrow in round 4 to make it back to us at pick 47. I don't think I hate reaching for him early as much as I did before. I still don't love it, but I can certainly understand, especially if you're only building a couple of teams, you're playing this contest kind of casually, you want to make sure you get that Bengals stack in. Like, I think it's okay to take Burrow at 26. it feels gross, but you have those 21 picks between round 3 and your next selection in round 4. So if you absolutely have to have it, if it's something that you absolutely want, like, I'm okay with it, is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I don't mind. I've seen Burrow fall some crazy. Like there's like it's still two things. Either Burrow goes at the 3-4 turn, 10 picks ahead of ADP, or he falls, half a round after where he's supposed to go in the chase owner. So.
Interesting. I really don't know which direction I want to go here. I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. This is talk about building out the allocations, looking at my portfolio. I'm a little light on Devonta, and I think that's probably a mistake. So I'm happy to get a little bit more of him.
Interested to see where I was going to say Jonathan Taylor. Rooms will let him fall to the end of the third. Some won't let him even make it out of barely make it out of the second.
And I don't think it's bad for me to do this here and just get the stack right here at the 2-3 turn with Smith and Hurts if it's there for me. Pretty easy decision there for me for sure. Doesn't usually work out this way, but now 2 streams in a row where I've been able to draft the cover boy player from the stream. Got to be happy about that too.
No, that's such a good combo to get. Like, it's probably one of the best combos to get at the 2-3 turn. So, just tried listening to our YouTube broadcast on my phone, and it's barely can't hear anything. Should we try to start the stream over? Maybe you should host.
Yeah, we can do that.
How should we do this?
All right. Why don't we... Okay, let's go to... Are you still on the YouTube studio or no?
Yeah.
End it and restart.